In an article published in 2022 by ThoughtCO.com, Alan Grove stated that most high schools in the United States provide textbooks to students at no cost. Needless to say, when the average 18-year-old gets enrolled in college for the first time, he or she will be shocked to realize that textbooks can cost well over $1,000 a year. In fact, Echeverria spoke about this in the Business Insider just this past month. He said that the main reason for this is the fact that almost 80% of the textbooks used in tertiary institutions across the U.S. is dominated by 5 major publishers. I think greed has a lot to do with it, and wealthy American families don't mind spending hundreds of dollars on a textbook for each child. So they support these greedy authors and publishers. These publishers also know that the government will pay their asking price. We live in a democratic society where we are supposed to have equal rights. Therefore, a young minority student, for example, from a family with little or no means, simply cannot afford it. Our government then issues numerous grants and loans to these young displaced students who don't even understand financial responsibility. The government does this because they know they can make money off the high interest rates that they will charge for these loans. These poor students then have no other choice but to accept the terms and conditions just so they can have a fair shot at an education. These greedy publishers work so hard to find ways to make sure that students keep buying brand new textbooks from them every semester. They add new access codes to the textbooks and instruct colleges that students have to purchase the new textbook so they can access these codes in order to access the new material required for class. Authors also create new editions where they scramble the chapters to make it more difficult for someone to use a second-hand book. For example, the subject of chapter 4 in an older edition will be found divided between chapters 7 and 8 in the new edition. In other words, if you didn't buy the new edition, then when the instructor tells you there's a test on chapter 4, you might go home and ultimately read the wrong chapter, which means you will not be prepared for the test. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, however. There's a movement on the horizon which would implore universities and colleges to use open resources instead of the conventional textbook. This movement is still in its infancy stage, however, as only a few colleges and universities in the United States are using these open resources today.